Hey, this is Mike Matthews from MuscleForLife.com, and in this podcast, I'm going to talk about 5 mistakes that I made back when I didn't really know what I was doing with both my diet and my training. That kind of kept me stuck in a rut, making really little to no gains for many years. And then I also want to talk about a pretty cool lesson that I learned from Steve Martin, not personally one-on-one, but actually from reading his book, on how to set and achieve goals. I thought he had a very good insight in this. I wrote an article about it actually months and months and months ago, but I thought it'd be good to talk about it on the podcast. All right, so let's start here with these 5 mistakes that I was making. These are mistakes that I see every day in the gym. Sometimes I try to say something to help people out. Sometimes I don't. Most of the time I don't, because I guess most people, they just kind of don't really take nicely to that, and they don't change anyway, regardless of what I try to explain, unless they come and ask for help, and then I'm willing, then they're more receptive. But I started working out when I was about 17, turning 18, something like that. Initially, I just wanted to impress girls because getting into that age where it was as a teenager, 15, 16, if you just have a little bit of abs, you're like, oh, you're so amazing, right? And then as girls get older, then they like to see guys more muscular. So that's why I started working out. And had no idea what I was doing. Read magazines, did a bunch of stupid workouts, just ate a bunch of food. At least I did that semi-correctly. I ate way more protein than I really had to be eating, and probably just generally more calories than I needed to be eating. But at least I, wasn't under eating. But the net result was, for my first year of working out, I made decent gains. I probably gained about 15 pounds in my first year, which is not that great, and it's not 15 pounds of muscle. Because I was eating quite a bit more than I needed to be. I gained some fat as well. I probably started around 12 or 13%. I'm naturally more on the ectomorphic side body-wise, somewhere between ecto and meso. And so, I started out in a more kind of athletic, not super lean, but not overweight at all. And then maybe by the end of the first year, I was upwards of, maybe 14 and 15% or something like that, and I kind of just stayed there for over the course of the next however many years. And really, for my first 6 or 7 years, that was kind of my period of I was consistent. I would go to the gym every day. I would do all different types of workouts. I tried everything except for what I eventually realized and learned that is the key to making gains as a natural weightlifter, which is emphasizing heavy compound weightlifting. So I tried everything else, every magazine workout you could imagine, all different kinds of splits that we're training everything twice a week, training everything. I even tried 3 times a week at one point and burned out on that, to once a week, blah, blah, blah. A lot of high rep stuff, a lot of drop sets, supersets, the standard, what you are told to do in most magazines and on most websites and that kind of thing, and what you'll see big bodybuilders doing. And I'll show, I'm going to put up a picture here. I'm going to put a picture of me at year 2. Not the best picture because you can't really see my entire body, but you can see that, that was into year 2. So I've made some gains, but not nearly as much as I could have. I played sports growing up, so I wasn't necessarily naturally muscular, but I was naturally kind of athletic looking. So you can see there, year 2, and then year 8. Put this picture up, and you can see I've gained some size. My chest responded well, just a genetic strength of mine, really. And I guess because I trained it, that was one thing I diligently trained, of course, was chest. Sometimes it was 2 chest days a week, but my chest did respond. It's actually, like, for how big it looks in that picture, you'd be surprised at how weak I was. Like, at that time, I probably couldn't even bench 225 on a flat bench with proper form. There's no way I could have done more than 4 reps. No way. I probably would have failed at like 2 reps. That's how pathetically weak my chest was. It just responded well in terms of sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. I don't know. It's just a genetic thing, I guess. So, as you can imagine, I wasn't too thrilled with my progress. Also with how my body looked. At the time, I thought that getting super lean and defined and having some size required drugs, period. So I wasn't even overly cynical about it. I didn't care that other people did that. I just thought that it wasn't possible to look how I look now naturally. So I kind of just did my thing. I ate a lot of food. I lifted weights. I was, like I wasn't very strong, but I just stuck with it. So it's around that period, it was year 8, year 7, right, where that last picture that you saw, that's when I decided to actually really start taking my fitness. I wouldn't say taking it seriously, but I knew that I didn't really know what I was doing. I just never really, it was something that I guess I would just go to the gym with my friends and we would all hang out and it'd be 2 hours, doing a million different exercises. But then I started to get a little bit more serious in terms of like, okay, I want to actually get, for the amount of time that I'm putting into this, I want to get more out of it. I want to have more to show for, not just even how I look.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hey everybody, show off your guns a little bit. That's right. You know why? Because we have Muscle for Life. Michael Matthews on the phone. You guys got to go and check out. He's got a podcast, a YouTube, but look at all of these books that we're going to be reviewing on today's show. So Michael, thank you so much for being a guest on Michelle Davis Fitness.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's go down the line and have each of the ladies introduce themselves.
My name's Sabrina Nash.
I'm Heidi Speaker.
And I'm Annie Breyer.
And we're part of the Platinum Physiques team. So we
Awesome.
wanted
Nice to know.
we wanted to kind of introduce ourselves and talk about how amazing your books are, how they changed my life, how I hope you ladies kind of read his books. Yes, you can borrow my books if you need to. That's fine. That's what friends are for. And we're going to kind of review each of them. So before we do, let's talk about your life as a bodybuilder. If you guys were watching in that video, kind of talks about the mistakes he was making, talks about the transformation he was doing, how it wasn't working for him, and lightly, briefly talk about that a little bit more, Michael, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. So, I got into weightlifting, I was probably 17 or 18 because I grew up playing sports. I played a lot of ice hockey is really what I got into. And I stopped playing at 16 or 17 because I knew I wasn't going to take it further than that. It was something that I had a lot of fun with, but I wasn't going to necessarily try to make it a career or even try to, use it for getting into college or anything like that. So I wanted to keep doing something with my body. And honestly, I got into it because girls like muscles, and so
Of course they do, right?
Yeah. I'll start lifting weights. I'll start doing that. And then I kind of actually enjoyed it just for what it is. But in the beginning, I didn't really do a good job educating myself. So I started with reading bodybuilding magazines and workout magazines and so forth, and doing the workouts that were prescribed in the magazines, which is better than nothing, especially when you're starting out with any sort of resistance training. You can do pretty much anything and get results. So it's encouraging in that sense. So regardless of how non-optimum your diet and training is, for the first 6 months or so, you can do just about anything, and you're going to see changes in your body. So that's what I saw, and my body responded fairly well to it, which is probably just mainly a genetic thing, and also starting at a good age, hormonally speaking.
Okay.
So for the first, I'd say year or so, I made decent progress. Looking back, I was doing a lot of things wrong, but regardless, I was seeing changes and was encouraged by that. But I would say probably from like the year 2 point, the point of about end of year 2 to year 6 or year 7, maybe I gained an additional 10, 15 pounds of muscle at most in that time. Mm-hmm. And again, that's something, but that's not very good for 4 to 5 years of work.
Right.
I would say if I could go back, if I could start anew with what I know now, I probably could have made the progress that I made my first 7 years, probably my first 2.5 years, maybe 3 years of knowing, what to actually do. So it was around that time period when I decided to educate myself and again, because up until that point, it also, at least I knew that I didn't know. It was something that I enjoyed doing. I would do with my friends. Life was simpler then, and I could sit in the gym for 2 hours and kind of mess around and talk and just be inefficient in general.
Well, I have a question to kind of get at, where I want to talk about your books. It's not only that you learned what you needed to know, and it took you some time and establishment, but you got there, but it was also the business sense and the savviness that you had to market yourself on a platform that no one had really ever done, and educating people about your story, about the mistakes. And so if you hadn't gone through that progression, you would never have gotten through these books to kind of explain to people exactly what they need to know. And so can we go over each of the books if you don't mind, and have you kind of explain what men and women can do by reading this to help transform their lives?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay.
that eventually led to the books. Where the first book I wrote is called Bigger, Leaner, Stronger. I self-published it in 2012. That's actually Thinner, Leaner, Stronger. That's for women. So the reason why I have a book for men and for women is because I initially published a book for men. It was just kind of scratching my own itch.
And I wasn't going to buy that one. I figured that one was for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy that one.
That's why I had to do it, though.
Yeah,
because,
exactly.
I started with Bigger, Leaner, Stronger. And I'm like, I'm just going to write the book that I wish I had 7 years ago. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet and to the point and just say, this is how this works. And I'm not going to do much in the way of trying to, there's not going to be much in the way of preamble. It's just going to be, this is how the metabolism works. This is how energy balance works. This is how macronutrient, and just do this and you'll get results.
Yeah.
And I kind of just did it on a lark, and it actually caught on and did quite well. So then, though, I would have a lot of women that would email me and ask if they should, is this for them? Or women that would read the book and then email and say, hey, should I do this exactly as it's laid out? I mean, obviously, this is very much a book for men.
It's a big book.
So that's when I was like, okay, I need to do a book for women. And of course, the basics are the basics, but there are some differences, especially when it comes to training. And for example, most guys need to put a lot more work into their upper bodies than their lower bodies to get to where they want to be. Their lower bodies are going to respond a lot faster, and they're going to gain strength and size a lot faster in their lower body.
So what was the second book that you came out with? I think we kind of have a bad connection a little bit.
Oh no.
Michael, you still there? Well, anyways, we're going to kind of go on with the show. This Cardio Sucks book I really enjoyed because oh, is he still there? Can you try calling him in again? Okay. We're going to try and get him back. Come back to us, Michael.
Sucks.
It does suck. But what I love about Cardio Sucks is it explains to you why you don't have to do cardio every day. Everyone thinks I have to lose weight, I need to do cardio, I have to be on the elliptical machine for hours. This book teaches you why you don't have to be that way. It leads you into knowing about diet, and that's why The Shredded Chef, I love this book. It's got lots of pictures, and it's really, really healthy. So if you are on a meal prep diet, ladies, I know I don't want to show you these pictures, but some of these you can get away with. There are some things that are all about the greens and the proteins, and I just love the pictures. There are tons and tons of desserts, yes.
He also touches on flexible dieting too, to where you can still get good results without eating super clean all the time. I mean, of course, on like a bodybuilding prep, it's very different, but you can still get excellent weight loss and muscle gain goals without, being super strict and restrictive.
And that's true. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
You got to have a little bit of cheat here and there.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
That's what he talks about in here. Cheats are good.
You have to live your life a little bit.
Yes. Amen. And so after the Thinner, Leaner, Stronger book is the 1-year challenge for women for the thinner, leaner, and stronger than ever in 12 months. And this is more of a workbook where you fill out every single day what your workout is, and it kind of goes over all the guidelines and things that with the Shredded Chef you can also apply to as well. And probably my favorite book is, you can hold it.
I can hold it. I'm holding it.
Muscle Myths. I love this book because it talks about why it's okay to drink alcohol, why it's okay to have a late night meal with carbs in it. It's okay to do things that you probably would think, oh, I need to skip breakfast in order to lose weight. No, actually just read this book and it's going to tell you exactly, and it's really short. The book you can read in one day. I loved it. I got through all of these books in probably 2 months, and I gave myself some time, which was good because a lot of reading, you can be overwhelmed in one sitting. Last but not least, Michael Matthews has come out with the Legion products, and these Legion products are amazing. I got the pre-workout and the after-workout in Fruit Punch. They also have whey protein, and some of the things from Michael Matthews that I learned is why some of the things in well, supplements and protein powders, and also in things that you want to watch out for that has really bad ingredients that can give you a lot of digestive issues, can, cause a lot of damage to your body. And that was one of the things Michael Matthews educated me on. So his products are all really safe. And you can get more information. Just go to muscleforlife.com. Check it out. What do you ladies think about Michael Matthews and his books and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're going through a transformation, the most important thing you can do is just constantly infiltrate your mind with good, positive motivation.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if your mind's not on track, it's so hard. And
It
so by
is.
reading, good books, watching good shows, I think that helps so much with your goals and staying on track.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think having these books is great, especially for people maybe beginning in the industry.
Oh, he's back.
And they feel lost.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
So we are actually out of time, Michael, but I'm hoping you'll come back next month and we'll talk more about the products that you're going to send to me. And my ladies would love some swag too. So if you have any Legion tanks that they can wear, we'd love to do another, promotional advertising with you with the Legion products. Send out your .com, your information if people want to get more about you and your books and your podcast and everything.
Yeah, I mean, everything is at Muscle for Life, just spelled out muscleforlife.com. And you can find Legion from there, but that's all the educational stuff. And then Legion is Legion, athletics.com.
So thank you so much for being a guest on Michelle
I'm
Davis
sorry about
Fitness.
the cutting. I had to restart my computer.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh.
That's okay. Next month, I'd love to have you back on, talk about your products, maybe have some of the ladies try your products as well, see what they think.
Sure.
We're in competition mode, and Annie is my competition coach, and so we go through a lot of things every week that we'd love to share on our Instagram, on our Facebook, and I love how social media savvy you are as well. So thank you for responding to my tweets and my Instagram stories about how much I love reading your books and wanting to share it with all the men and women out there.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for the support. And again, I apologize on my computer.
We don't mind. It's okay, right? Yeah, no problem. All right. Well, I hope to have your Legion protein bar coming out soon.
Yeah,
And
that's, my fingers are crossed too. We're getting samples
Yes.
in this week that if it's just the mouthfeel has to be right. The last batch, they tasted good, but they were too sticky. So if they're not, if they're enjoyable to eat and it doesn't take too much work to swallow them, then we're good.
yeah. When are you going to have another Q&A on Instagram Live?
I'm going to be doing one or two a week. They're pretty random, honestly. I'll just be. I should probably be a.
Ladies,
more
he's sitting in his
regimented.
sauna while he's doing the video, so it's kind of fun a little bit.
What's that?
I said you're sitting in your sauna. I know you're
Yeah,
married,
exactly.
but
That's it. I'll go in the sauna.
muscle for life,
Yeah, that's me.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much for being a guest, and we'll hopefully talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
All right, say bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.